Now then, all week, social historian Ruth Goodman will be rummaging around in drawers up and down the country looking at underwear that shaped Britain over the years.
Yeah. Bras, knickers, girdles, stockings, corsets. Do you want me to go on?
No.
OK, we're calling them the unmentionables.
The corset is no longer undercover. What was once unmentionable is now, well, right in your face. With performers putting their undies on show, the corset has never had it so good.
But you'd never guess where the corset trail begins.
Westminster Abbey is the last resting place of the most interesting underwear in English history, more than 400 years old.
On the effigy of Queen Elizabeth I, who died in 1603, when recently it was disrobed, underneath was found the oldest corset in the country. It's a really sophisticated garment, this. Nothing crude about it. Not meant to be seen, so it's not pretty. But my goodness, it's clever.
The corset was, of course, invented to flatter the natural shape. The earliest were known as pairs of bodies, later stays, from the word stay to stay in place. By the 19th century, everyone was wearing them.
From being children, they would have been put in some form of supporting foundation garment, designed to support their growing bodies, to give them the correct posture. And certainly there was that view that actually, without some sort of support, their bodies, their musculation, their internal organs were at risk, and that a corset was part of the way of keeping everything in place. We now have a view of a corset being something actually quite sexy, and you know, it's the next thing to the skin. And then I think it was actually a badge of respectability, and it showed who you were.
Showed you were in control.
Yes.
Self-control.
Absolutely. Straight-laced.
Straight-laced.
And that's where the phrase comes from, the lacing of a corset. Elizabeth, of course, was straight-laced, but crossing the lacing was more informal, easier to cinch in the waist, easier to get in and out of. Another mainstay of the corset was whalebone.
Little tiny slithers were inserted to give it strength and flexibility. Of course, it's not bone, it's from the plates inside a whale's mouth, where it filter-feeded the plankton. And at the very end of the 19th century, you get this amazing new invention, the spiral steel bone. More flexible and much cheaper to produce.
Very few companies still make corsets in Britain, but there's one family business here in Portsmouth, the city that was once the corset capital of the country.
My great-grandparents started the company in 1899, and at that time there were probably around 9,000 people employed in the corset industry in Portsmouth alone. Today there's only one, and that's us. All our corsets are based on patterns that my great-grandfather created and designed all that time ago. The main difference now is that I would say probably 90% of corsets are worn as an outer garment.
It's mostly about fashion and fun.
I think so, yes. Yeah, I think it is.
These cutting rooms once produced objects that would never be seen in public, not even on a washing line. That has all changed.
I think the corsets come back into fashion because everybody's getting more nostalgic. Things like period dramas have come back, you know, those heaving bosoms and these beautiful curvaceous bodies. And I think the runway model look, the very stick thin, that's out. People are embracing their figures now and they want to show off those curves. And corsets are a fabulous way of doing that. You know, it pulls this tummy in and it gives you beautiful thin waist and then this heaving bosom. Who wouldn't want that?
Nowadays, the corset can be a prom gown, wedding dress, evening and day wear. Madonna brought it out of the closet, where it had been hidden for hundreds of years. From functional to fashionable, one of the oldest items of underwear still popular today.
Alex Jones voguing throughout the
Love a bit of Madonna. Now, we put a corset on Jay Rayner to try to reduce the silhouette. Here's how we got on. eating.
There we are.
He lost 8 inches, Evan.
Yeah, but it can't get rid of the fat. It squeezes up into the heaving bosom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not always a great
Good
look
effort,
for a
though,
guy.
for Jay, but I mean, he was kind of following in the footsteps of many greats. I mean, knights used to wear them for posture, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Well, there we are. Thanks very much to Ruth for that. Tomorrow, more Unmentionables knickers tomorrow. Big thanks to Evan. Business Nightmares is on tonight. BBC 2 at 8.
Rory Bremner will be here tomorrow. Bye-bye. Right, absolutely marvellous. I tell you what, I just had to do... Honestly, I couldn't breathe throughout the whole of the show. It was terrible.
Where did you get that from?
Oh, I've been
I
wearing
told you
it.
to stay out of my dressing room.